absolutely. Why don't we move to our final segment today, which is forecasting, looking ahead to both the national forecasting and South Carolina. Why don't This is our model in conjunction with the folks at Ozzy. Why don't you guys walk us through what these parts are telling us? This one thing, because it kind of, I'm just going to jump in with a thought that would have gone to the polling, but since we moved on, seeing Bernie, having a higher share in the national, it is eerie how it's reflective of 2016. It's kind of scary. You don't want to think you're just seeing things because of recency, but it does seem that there's a lot more pushback among elite Democrats that have access to platforms than the wider Democratic electorate. And he's popular. He's popular across numerous ideological segments. He may not be the first choice in all of them, but he is popular. And we're starting to see that he's still, in this national forecasting model, the most likely person to get there. Obviously, nobody and some sort of broker convention or deal prior to the convention is right there as well. So why don't you guys walk us through these numbers, how you got them, and sort of what they mean?
Yeah, and I think the first thing I'll say on these, so the top numbers reflect probabilities of achieving a majority of the delegates at the national level. The bottom numbers, the South Carolina numbers, are actually our estimated vote share for South Carolina. So just want to avoid some confusion there. We don't think that Biden only has a 40% chance of winning South Carolina. We think right now that he's on pace to get about 40% of the vote. Podko, I'm sure you have some thoughts on this. I'll highlight one thing, and that's the no majority number. When we started this forecast before Iowa, it was sitting at roughly where it's at now. As the primary started, it kept going up and up and peaked right before Nevada at about a 51% chance of no one achieving a majority. Nevada severely caused a course correction because Bernie overperformed much more than the model thought he would. And so that dropped majority down into the 30s. And over the last week, it's been steadily rising, steadily rising. I think in our next model update, I got a sneak peek at the numbers. I think the margin between Sanders and no majority is going to be pretty razor thin. So that number's back up on the rise now.
Yeah, so the no majority number definitely screams out, but another one is Mayor Pete at only 1%. Could you talk us through a little bit how Mayor Pete is only at 1%? Because so far he seems to be doing pretty well. Maybe in Nevada he didn't do that hot, but he was up there in the delegate allocation coming out of New Hampshire.
Yeah, so definitely Buttigieg, one of his arguments over the last few days is he's the only person to have beaten Bernie Sanders in any of these contests. Unfortunately for him, his ability to keep earning delegates seems like it's coming to a close. His runway is sort of running out. He is not expected to crack 15% statewide in South Carolina, though, definitely possible. He might earn a delegate here or there at the congressional district level. But South Carolina is looking like a dud for him. And then as you look through Super Tuesday, there's no state in which he's favored to win. There's only a couple in which he is sort of running in second place based off of polling and modeling. And then in most places, he is either third, fourth, or fifth. And so that just doesn't bode well for his chances of getting a majority of the delegates. He's going to have to churn something around pretty quickly in order to get there. I will say his probability of getting a plurality is a bit higher. I believe at last check it was at around 6%. But yeah, the chances that he gets a majority are very low because, over the next week, he's not expected to have a very good week. And if he emerges with only, let's say, 100 delegates after that, it would be very difficult for him to all of a sudden start racking up the wins that would be necessary for it.
What do we think the path going forward, and this is for either of you, what do we think the path going forward looks like for Steyer, Warren, or Klobuchar? Because I think we could toy around, and we've already done this a little bit, about Bloomberg's pathway as he enters into Super Tuesday, because it's an odd situation where he hasn't been on a ballot yet, despite his big vote totals up in Dixville Notch. But what are some of these other candidates thinking? What is their calculus for staying in the race where it doesn't look like they're going to be the polling leader nor the delegate leader? So what is their calculus? I mean, are we assuming that Steyer's going to drop out at 7:01 on Saturday?
Well, that's, sometimes you look at it and say, well, why are some of these people even in the race? What are the odds? But you never know, right? I mean, people laughed at Buttigieg a year ago, and, he narrowly wins Iowa and has a good showing in New Hampshire, so you never know. But now we can start to see some of the contours here. I think the first step for some of these candidates, like Klobuchar, is she has to win Minnesota, obviously on Super Tuesday. Now, what happens after that? I don't know. I mean, you got a couple Midwestern states the following week, Michigan and Ohio. But Michigan's probably a pretty good state for Bernie. He won it against Clinton in 2016. Ohio, you would think Joe Biden would probably have a good shot against somebody like Bernie Sanders. So,
but like, what's the path?
Where should he go?
What's the path beyond Minnesota? I mean, John
That's
Kasich.
what I mean, yeah.
John Kasich won Ohio. John Kasich won Ohio, but then where does one go after that?
Right, and the same thing with Elizabeth Warren. She's got to win Massachusetts, right? But Bernie's doing really well there. But even if she wins Massachusetts, then what? How many of these people are now playing to be, a spoiler or a kingmaker or a queenmaker, as the case may be? In Milwaukee, can they drag it out? Can they get enough viral moments that they get a couple $1 million here or there to keep going for another week or two and, grind out some delegates so that if having 200 delegates or 300 delegates matters come Milwaukee, they may not be playing to win anymore. They may be playing some other game that's known only to them at this point.
Yeah, I think that's right. The way I think about it is, Steyer is sort of the enigma. He said that he wants to come in top 3 in South Carolina. I'm not sure what coming in third, which it looks like he's if he is going to be in the top 3, it probably won't be first place or second place. I'm not sure what that third place finish really gets him. So putting him to the side for a second, I think Klobuchar has sort of locked in her ticket through Super Tuesday. Is trying to win Minnesota. If you have enough delegates, why not just stay and see if you're a player? Even if you are, getting 5% in each state after that, if you have 80, 100 delegates even, maybe that doesn't get you vice president, but maybe it gets you a cabinet spot or something. It's a valuable resource. The delegates are, when you know that the convention is going to go to a floor vote, and so you might as well just stay and keep it. If you drop out, in some states, those folks are reallocated. In other states, they can essentially do what they want, which to an extent is already true. But if you're still in the race, at least they're technically pledged to you. So Klobuchar, Warren, I think, are in that position. Buttigieg, a little bit more so in that, yeah, he's not going to win any state from here on out. I mean, Indiana, I guess, is on the calendar, but he's probably going to have 200, maybe 300 delegates, and so that's valuable.
Real quick before we wrap up, 2 words for everybody as we go around the room and ask our favorite question. Who would you rather be today?
For South Carolina or nationally?
Nationally.
Bernie. I mean, last week I said Biden, kind of because Alex wasn't here and somebody had to do it. And I do think that there's something to the second place in Nevada, which he got, and then presumably the first place in South Carolina. But I think, like I said, Bernie's more popular with actual voters than he is with pundits and party elites, and that's what eventually plays.
This is a serious answer. Mitch McConnell.
Oh my
Actually,
goodness.
serious answer.
Because he's going to keep the Senate majority.
Yeah.
I'll go Joe Biden.
Yeah, you can make a case for either of them. I think the Biden case is a little more of a bank shot at this point, even though I went with it last week. I think it's legitimate. But also, we've just seen so many twists and turns in this campaign. It's probably going to come down to what happens either just before or at the convention. But it's interesting, right? I mean, this is the kind of stuff that we live for. It's not boring. It's not paint by numbers, to say the least. So, we're pretty excited about that.